thermal conductivity of the rod is depends on Q value. Q is nothing but heat input to the metal rod, and A is cross-sectional area of the metal rod, and as well as it depends on dP by dx as well as temperature gradient. So now Q is heat input, that is this is a table of readings or observation table. So Q is equal to heat input. Heat input is voltmeter, that is voltage, then ammeter reading V into I. So this is ampere. Voltage multiplied by current, you will get watt, or it is also called Q. This is the input we have given to the metal rod. Now T2, T3, T4, T5, T6. These are the thermocouples which are placed on the specimen. Dear students, this is specimen of cross-sectional area A. This is cross-sectional area A. Now there are 5 thermocouples which are fixed on the surface of the given metal rod. So this is T2 and this is T3, T4, T5 and T6. So L is the length of the metal rod. So L you can take, or you can consider X also. Why you are considering X is in the formula is dx, the variation of temperature along X direction. And here there will be one heater, that is Q. Heat input, that is voltage multiplied by current. Now the T2 temperature will be more, the heat is transferring from left end to the right. And after some time, after steady state, this end will get heated. Now we need to calculate how much amount of heat is transferred from one end to the other end. So what we do is, we will send some cold water, because specific heat of water is more, it will absorb more energy, it is cheaply available in the nature. So we will supply cold water, and the temperature of the cold water which is sending to the thermal conductivity, that is T1. So T1 is inlet temperature, and this cold water absorb energy from one end of the rod, and with this cold water will become hot. And T4, not T7 is the temperature of the hot water which is coming outside the rod. So T7 minus T1 is outlet and inlet temperature of the water. Okay. Now how much amount of water you are selling, that you have to note down in this column. That is volume flow rate, cc cubic centimeter per minute. So volume flow rate is cc per minute, and this cc per minute you convert into meter cube. So 1 cc is equals to 1 ml, that is equal to 10 to the power of -6 cubic meter, and minute will be converted into seconds. So you are taking the temperature in degrees Celsius and the time you are converting in terms of seconds. Now once you observe all the data, then you will calculate the thermal conductivity using this form. Now Q is available to you. In the third column we got Q value, and A is cross-sectional area of the metal rod is given, but the temperature gradient you have to plot a graph. That graph is, for example, if you plot a graph, I will plot here. Now we will plot the x-axis. X-axis is length of the metal rod, and the y-axis is temperature of the thermocouples. Now the length of the metal rod is, assume that it is 250 mm. So between the two thermocouples the distance is 70. Here is also 70, here is also 70, here is also 70, and here is also first what we do is, I will take thermocouple temperature T2 is here, some temperature, and T3. As the length of the metal rod increases, the temperature is decreases. As we know, we will get negative slope, so we will get such type of slope. So now we calculate the dt value and the dx value. So dt by dx, we get some value. That is, unit is degrees Celsius per meter. So here I have taken in meters, and temperatures I have taken in degrees Celsius. So degrees Celsius per minute use a value of dt by dx. And this value dt by dx you substitute in the Fourier law. In the Fourier law, that is here in the denominator, and A is already we know it is cross-sectional area. D is the diameter of the rod is given. So area is equals to pi by 4 d square. Pi by 4 d square. So why you are considering cross-sectional area is, assume this is metal rod and here I have fixed heater. So this cross-sectional area, the heat is transferring from one end to the other end, not through surface area. If you take surface area, the A will become pi dl. But here I have considered heater is input, it is at cross-sectional area. So area is pi by 4 d square. Take the value of A, take the value of dt by dx, substitute here, finally you will get the value of K, is some watt, it is watt per meter Kelvin. So this is how the experiment will be conducted to calculate thermal conductivity. Now what we do is the same method what we discussed. We go to experiment and we will check how to determine thermal conductivity. So this is experimental setup. So heat transfer through metal bar. So heat transfer is, it is purely conduction. So convection will be there, but we are not considering convection. It is purely conduction. The aim of the experiment is to determine thermal conductivity. The apparatus used is the stopwatch, the flow measuring device, and thermocouples. And some storage, water storage tank, small storage tank. And here is the discharge of water. The hot water will be collected here. The input voltage, now I have fixed to 90 voltage, and here you will get the temperature readings, and here you will get the ammeter reading. And here there are two knobs, and this knob will be used for variation in the voltage. There are 5 thermocouples which are mounted on the surface area. Same cross sectional you can see here, and this black color line indicates the heat input, and this is T2, T3, T4, T5 and T6, and these 5 thermocouples are fixed on the metal rod, and other end of the metal rod is dipped in a liquid bath. The liquid bath here we have taken is water. So the supply of water is from the storage tank, and this tank is covered with some plate to avoid any dust particles storage. So the cold water will flow from this pipe to the inlet is here, and T1 is the inlet temperature of water, and this cold water absorb energy from the other end of the rod. It is transferred from here to here, and it will become hot water, and T7 is the temperature of hot water. And this knob will be used for taking T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T1 temperatures readings, and T2 to T6 temperatures will take from the metal rod, and T1 is inlet temperature of water, it is cold water, and T7 is outlet temperature of hot water. Now here one question will rise: what is the maximum flow rate of water? And in the design they have given inlet tube in the downward direction, here downward, and outlet they have given upward. If you change the position, what will happen? So instead of giving the inlet in the downward, if you give upward, the readings will not be a perfect reading. The reason is due to gravity, the water will fall down easily. You are not giving sufficient time to absorb heat from the rod. So if you are not giving sufficient time, the whatever the thermal conductivity you will measure, that is a wrong value. So you have to give a sufficient time to absorb heat from the other end of the rod. Then you take the readings and substitute in the calculation part. You will get the correct thermal conductivity of the metal rod. Now here there are two reasons. One is inlet water is always downward and outlet is upward. The volume flow rate of water will be measured by stopwatch and with the help of flow measuring jar. The flow measuring jar will be fixed here. These are the readings we have taken from experimental setup. So voltage is 100. So now all and current is 0.40, Q is 40, and T2, T3, T4, T5, T6 are the temperatures are in degrees Celsius, and T7 inlet temperature of water is 28 degrees Celsius, and T7 is outlet temperature of water, that is hot water which is coming outside of the system, is 40 degrees Celsius. At the same time, so using flow measuring jar, we have taken the volume flow rate, that is 15 cc per minute. Now it is volume flow rate, you convert it to mass flow rate by multiplying density. So using the formula, I'll write here the formula, rho is equals to mass by 1. So volume is 15, already have taken. So mass is unknown, density of water is 1000. So if you calculate using this formula, you will get 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 4 unit is kg per seconds. And dear students, these values are of a steady state. Okay. So once you set the value of voltage 100, you have to wait for 10 minutes or 15 minutes to attain steady state. Once the steady state is reached, take or observe all the values. Now we will do the calculation part. How to calculate the K value? So Q is equal to heat input. This is Q is input. This input heat is equal to voltage to current. So voltage is 100 and current is ampere 0.40. So if you multiply these two, you get 40 watt. That 40 watt is here I have written. And coming back to the formula Fourier law, heat input Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx, and E is equal to heat balance equation. These two are called heat balance equation. Heat input is equal to heat output. Okay. Now K is unknown. That K, using these two terms, I will simplify the equation and get K value. So K is equal to minus 40 divided by area. Area is pi by 4 d square. Same equation I have written in the previous here. K is equal to minus Q by A dt by dx. This is the simplified equation of energy balance equation. Now K is equal to minus Q value I have substituted as minus 40 divided by A is area of the cross section. Yeah, I have shown in the diagram as well, pi by 4 d square. Pi by 4 d, 20 mm is a diameter of the metal rod. That is cross sectional area, not surface area. Cross into the dt by dx. The dt by dx is plotted a graph here. Okay. X-axis is length of the metal rod and y-axis temperature values. Okay. So at 70 mm distance, T2 value is 205. Similarly, you note down the points 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. You mark on the graph and calculate slope. This is the slope. So slope is equal to general formula y by x is equal to y is nothing but this dt and x is nothing but here the length of the rod. And here after calculating y by x, this is the value of slope. The unit is degrees Celsius per meter. So after substituting all the values, we get K is equal to 83.29. this is the calculation part. This is how the thermal conductivity of a given metal rod will be calculated. So in the next video, we will discuss how to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient of a composite wall. Overall heat transfer is conduction as well as convection, both heat transfer will be considered. That is called overall heat transfer coefficient. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video.